The Xenarian diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its sleek obsidian hull absorbing, rather than reflecting, the distant sunlight. On the command deck, High Emissary Vexlor stood with his four arms clasped behind his back, watching the blue-green planet grow larger on the main view screen. "Primitive," he said, mandibles clicking softly in amusement. "Their most advanced satellites are barely functional by Confederation standards. They've managed a few clumsy expeditions to their own moon and sent primitive probes to nearby planets." Science Director Muriel nodded, her slender fingers dancing across a holographic interface. "Their technological development trajectory suggests they're at least 3 centuries from achieving reliable interstellar travel, perfect for categorization as a Class 3 civilization." "And their resources?" Vexlor asked, already knowing the answer. "Abundant, particularly the rare elements we require for hyperspace stabilizers. Initial scans detect significant deposits of both rhodium-777 and quantum-stabilized titanium in their crust." Vexlor's violet eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "The Confederation will be pleased. Begin preparations for first contact. Remember, we must appear benevolent, mentors to these primitive beings." What the aliens didn't know was that every word of their conversation was being analyzed in a facility deep beneath the Arctic ice. Director Elena Kaveri of Earth's Unified Space Command sat at the head of an obsidian conference table, surrounded by military officers and government officials from various nations. "They're exactly as arrogant as our intelligence suggested," she said, her voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. "Operation Phantom Veil remains active." The United Nations Secretary-General nodded grimly. "What's the status of the eclipse?" Elena tapped a command into her neural interface. A holographic display materialized above the table, showing a massive vessel hidden in the shadow of Saturn, its advanced stealth systems rendering it virtually invisible against the gas giant's swirling storms. "Captain Chen reports all systems are optimal. The eclipse remains undetected," Elena replied. "The Xenarians have no idea we've been monitoring their border incursions for the past decade, or that we recovered one of their scout ships from the Mariana Trench 15 years ago," added General Ibrahim Okafor, his weathered face illuminated by the hologram's blue glow. "The technology we reverse-engineered from that wreckage has accelerated our development by nearly a century." "Then we continue as planned," the Secretary-General said. "We play the part of the awestruck primitives while our fleet prepares." 3 days later, the Xenarian vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere in a deliberately theatrical display of lights and sound designed to impress the primitive humans. It landed on the massive ceremonial grounds prepared outside the United Nations headquarters in New York, where world leaders and media had gathered for the historic moment. High Emissary Vexlor emerged from his ship flanked by a delegation of Xenarian officials. His tall, insectoid frame towered over the human dignitaries, who approached with carefully rehearsed expressions of wonder and respect. The Secretary-General stepped forward. "On behalf of all humanity, I welcome you to Earth," he said, extending his hands in a gesture of peace and openness. Vexlor inclined his head slightly, the universal translator at his throat converting his clicks and whistles into flawless English. "We bring greetings from the Galactic Confederation, young ones. We have watched your development with great interest." The carefully orchestrated first contact proceeded exactly as the Xenarians had planned, or so they believed. Earth's leaders appeared appropriately awed by the aliens' technology, grateful for their attention, and eager to learn from such advanced beings. Later that evening, in a private meeting with Earth's Leadership Council, Vexlor revealed what he considered to be the true purpose of their visit. "Your world has been classified as a Class 3 developing civilization," he explained, projecting a holographic document that floated above the conference table. "This entitles you to Confederation protection and guidance." "What exactly does that mean for Earth?" asked the Secretary-General, feigning ignorance. Vexlor's mandibles clicked in what passed for a smile among his species. It means we will help accelerate your development along approved technological paths. We will establish monitoring stations to ensure your progress adheres to Confederation standards and prevent you from developing in dangerous directions. That sounds most generous, the Secretary General replied with apparent sincerity. What Vexilor couldn't see was the subspace communicator hidden in the Secretary General's ceremonial medallion, transmitting every word to Director Kaveri's facility and beyond, to the Eclipse and the other vessels of humanity's secret fleet. Captain Sophia Chen floated in the observation deck of the Eclipse, Earth's first true battlecruiser, watching the live transmission from New York. At 45, Chen had spent half her life in the classified space program, training for this moment. Her weathered face remained expressionless as she listened to the alien's hollow promises. "Captain," called her XO, Commander Raj Patel, "engineering wants you in the propulsion bay." Chen nodded and pushed off, gliding through the ship's main corridor with the practiced ease of someone born to zero gravity. The Eclipse was humanity's masterpiece, a vessel built with technology reverse-engineered from crashed Xenarian ships and enhanced by human innovation. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Yuna Kim was hunched over a holographic display showing complex equations. "You should see this, Captain," Kim said without looking up, her hands moving rapidly through the interface. "I've been analyzing their propulsion signatures. Their hyperspace drive is surprisingly inefficient." Chen raised an eyebrow. "Meaning?" Kim finally looked up, a glint in her eye. "Meaning our modifications make our engines almost 30% faster than theirs. They aren't as advanced as they think." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Keep that information secure. Any other observations?" "Their communication systems are leaking data. They think they're encrypted, but Dr. Martinez cracked their basic protocols within hours. We're getting tactical data, personnel records, everything." Chen nodded. "Good. What about their weapon systems?" "Standard particle beam technology. Our adaptive shields should hold against them easily, especially with the quantum reflection modifications we've implemented." "Excellent work. Keep monitoring." Chen turned to leave but paused. "And Yuna?" "Not a word about our advantages to anyone outside the command crew." "Of course, Captain." Back on Earth, High Emissary Vexilor met privately with his team aboard their vessel, unaware of the sophisticated listening devices hidden within its structure. "These humans are even more primitive than our initial assessment suggested," he told his officers. "They're practically falling over themselves to please us." Security Chief Dravik looked less convinced. "I don't trust their easy acceptance. Most species show at least some resistance." Vexilor waved away the concern. "They're like larvae discovering there are adults in the universe. Their technology is centuries behind ours. What resistance could they possibly offer?" "What about the resource extraction plan?" asked Science Director Miral. "We'll begin surveys immediately," Vexilor replied. "Their oceans contain remarkable mineral concentrations, and their biosphere will provide excellent genetic samples. We'll start with requests for scientific collaboration and gradually increase our presence." "And if they object?" Dravik pressed. Vexilor's expression hardened. "Then we remind them of their place in the galactic hierarchy. The Confederation has already approved limited military action if needed." What Vexilor didn't know was that every word was being transmitted to Director Kaveri's facility, where analysts were building a complete profile of the aliens' intentions and capabilities. 1 week after first contact, the Xenarian delegation requested a tour of Earth's most advanced technology centers. Earth's leaders carefully choreographed visits to facilities that displayed exactly the level of technology the aliens expected. Advanced enough to be impressive for primitives, but nowhere near the aliens' capabilities. Meanwhile, Director Kaveri stood in Earth's true technological crown jewel, a massive shipyard built into the far side of the moon. Before her, 3 ships similar to the Eclipse were in various stages of completion. "How soon?" she asked the chief engineer. "The Nemesis can be ready in 3 weeks. The Odyssey and Intrepid need another 2 months." Kaveri nodded. Accelerate production. I don't think our visitors plan to stay friendly for long. As she spoke, a message arrived from Earth. The Xenarians had begun setting up their first monitoring station in the Pacific Ocean, a device that was actually a resource analyzer and tactical physician. The game of deception had begun in earnest. Earth appeared welcoming and naive, while secretly preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The Xenarians believed they were dealing with an easy conquest, while unwittingly facing humanity's hidden strength. And in the shadow of Saturn, Captain Chen and the crew of the Eclipse waited, watching and ready to reveal that Earth wasn't as young or helpless as the Galactic Confederation thought. 6 weeks after first contact, tensions were rising beneath the veneer of cooperation. The Xenarians had established monitoring stations on every continent, supposedly to help guide Earth's development. In reality, each station was mapping resources and strategic locations. Director Elena Kaveri stood in the observation dome of the lunar shipyard, watching as workers in specialized suits swarmed over the nearly completed warships. The dark side of the moon had proven the perfect hiding place for humanity's greatest secret, a fleet built to defend Earth's sovereignty. Status report, she said to the man who had just entered the room. Admiral Thomas Reyes consulted his neural interface. The Nemesis is at full combat readiness. The Odyssey will be ready in 3 days, and the Intrepid in 7. And their weapon systems, all enhanced with the modifications we developed from studying the Xenarian wreckage. Our simulations suggest they'll be significantly more effective than standard Confederation weapons. Kaveri nodded, her weathered face reflecting the blue glow from the work lights outside. At 58, she had dedicated 30 years of her life to this project. Ever since the recovery team had pulled that crashed Xenarian scout ship from the ocean depths. The Xenarians have set up 28 monitoring stations globally, she said. Yesterday, they requested access to survey the Marianas Trench. Reyes's expression hardened. Right where we found their scout ship. Exactly. They're searching for it. Then they suspect something. Perhaps, but I don't think they know the extent of our capabilities yet. Kaveri turned away from the viewport. I want all 3 ships ready in 1 week, whatever it takes. That's pushing safety margins, Director. I know, but I don't think we have much more time. Meanwhile, aboard the Eclipse, Captain Chen floated through the ship's central corridor toward the bridge. The vessel was running silent, minimal power, hidden in Saturn's shadow. Only essential systems remained active as they monitored Xenarian communications. The bridge was dimly lit when Chen arrived, designed to preserve night vision and reduce power signatures. Her crew worked quietly at their stations. Captain on the bridge, announced Commander Patel. Status report, Chen said, strapping herself into the command chair. All systems nominal. Patel replied. We've intercepted some concerning communications in the past hour. The Xenarians are discussing bringing in a resource assessment team for Earth's oceans. Put it on screen. The main display lit up with a transcript of the intercepted alien communication. Chen read it carefully, her jaw tightening. These aren't scientists, she said. These are extraction specialists. They're preparing to take what they want. Yes, Captain, said Communications Officer Layla Bishara. They're specifically interested in deep-sea trench deposits, the exact locations where quantum-stabilized titanium forms on Earth. Chen tapped her fingers on the armrest. What's the status of our weapon systems? Dr. Kim has been working around the clock, Patel said. The modifications to the main cannons are complete. According to simulations, they're now 40% more powerful than standard Confederation weaponry. And they still don't know we're here. No, Captain. Our stealth systems are holding. They've sent scout ships through the system, but none have detected us. Chen nodded. Good. Keep monitoring their communications. I want to know the moment their tone changes from friendly visitors to resource collectors. On Earth, High Emissary Vexilor walked through a carefully selected technology company, nodding politely as human executives showed him their advanced computer systems. Inside, He was laughing. Their most powerful supercomputers were toys compared to the processing unit in his personal communicator. "Very impressive for your developmental stage," he said, the translator making his condescending tone sound almost sincere. "Thank you, emissary," said the company CEO. "We're very proud of our progress." Vexilor gestured to one of his aides, who stepped forward with a small device. "As a gesture of goodwill, I'd like to offer you this data storage unit. It contains basic educational materials about some simple technologies your people might find useful." "That's very generous," the CEO said, accepting the device with appropriate awe. What the Zenarians didn't know was that identical alien gifts had been thoroughly examined in secret labs beneath the very building they stood in. Earth scientists had already determined they contained monitoring software and carefully limited technology designed to guide human development along paths beneficial to the Galactic Confederation. 3 days later, Vexilor requested an emergency meeting with the United Nations Security Council. As the world leaders gathered, satellite imagery showed 5 additional Zenarian vessels entering the solar system. The Secretary General exchanged a knowing glance with Alina Kaveri, who sat at the back of the chamber. It was happening exactly as they had predicted. Vexilor strode confidently to the podium, his tall insectoid frame looming over the human delegates. "Esteemed leaders of Earth," he began, the translator converting his clicks and whistles into smooth English. "The time has come to formalize our relationship. The Galactic Confederation has prepared a protection agreement for your world." A holographic document appeared above the podium, slowly rotating for all to see. "This agreement will usher your species into a new era of guided development and prosperity," Vexilor continued. "The Confederation has been most generous in its terms." The document stopped rotating and expanded, revealing its contents section by section. "Earth will provide access to 60% of its mineral resources, with particular focus on oceanic deposits and rare elements. In exchange, we will provide limited technological assistance in approved areas." Murmurs ran through the assembly. "Additionally, uninhabited regions of your planet will be designated for Confederation research stations and settlements. We require the complete Arctic and Antarctic regions, selected island territories, and approximately 40% of your ocean floor." The Secretary General, maintaining the facade of shocked concern, raised his hand. "Emissary Vexilor, these terms seem quite extensive." Vexilor's 4-fingered hand waved dismissively. "For a Class 3 world, these are standard terms. In fact, they are quite generous. Many worlds are required to provide up to 80% of their resources." "And what happens if we find these terms unacceptable?" asked the Chinese premier. For the first time, Vexilor's diplomatic mask slipped slightly. "The agreement is not optional. It is the Confederation's will. You have 48 Earth hours to formally accept these terms." As the assembly erupted in controlled chaos, exactly as Earth's leaders had planned, Kaveri slipped out of the hall and into a secure communications room. "It's happening," she said into her encrypted neural link. "Vexilor just delivered the ultimatum. We have 48 hours. Admiral Rice's voice came through clearly. "Understood. Operation Revelation is now active." In the lunar shipyard, the final preparations were complete. The 3 warships, Nemesis, Odyssey, and Intrepid, powered up their systems and prepared to depart their hidden docks. "All ships report combat-ready status," Rice informed Kaveri. "Eclipse has been notified and is moving into position." "Good," Kaveri replied. "Begin the operation." In Saturn's shadow, the Eclipse had indeed detected the 5 new Zenarian vessels entering the solar system. Captain Chen gathered her command crew on the bridge. "They dropped the pretense," she said, displaying the ultimatum Vexilor had delivered to Earth. "This is a resource grab, pure and simple." "Orders, Captain?" asked Commander Patel. "We proceed as planned. Move to position Alpha and prepare to decloak on my mark." The massive ship silently powered up its engines and glided out of Saturn's shadow, its stealth systems still active as it accelerated toward Earth. Meanwhile, On Earth's moon, 3 massive bay doors opened in what had appeared to be solid lunar surface. One by one, the warships Nemesis, Odyssey, and Intrepid emerged from their hidden dock and accelerated away from the lunar surface. In the United Nations chamber, the emergency session continued. Vexlor was becoming impatient with the humans' protests. "Your objections are irrelevant," he stated flatly. "The 5 additional vessels now entering your system carry settlement units and resource extraction equipment. Whether you sign the agreement or not, the process will begin in 48 hours. This is merely a courtesy notification." The Secretary General stood slowly. "I see. Then I regret to inform you, Emissary Vexlor, that Earth must respectfully decline your generous offer." Vexlor's mandibles clicked in surprise, then amusement. "You misunderstand, human. This is not a negotiation." "No," the Secretary General agreed. "It is not." He tapped his ceremonial medallion 3 times, the signal to begin. High above the Earth, the Eclipse dropped its stealth field, suddenly appearing on Xenarian sensors just 10,000 kilometers from the 5 incoming Confederation vessels. Simultaneously, the Nemesis, Odyssey, and Intrepid accelerated out of lunar orbit, their advanced engines flaring with blue-white energy as they moved to intercept the Xenarian diplomatic vessel still in Earth orbit. On the bridge of the Eclipse, Captain Chen watched as the Xenarian ships frantically tried to understand what was happening. "They're powering weapons, Captain," reported Tactical Officer Marcus Wong. "Hail them," Chen ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, showing the shocked face of the Xenarian fleet commander. "This is Captain Sophia Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Eclipse," she announced calmly. "Your forces are outnumbered and outgunned. Lower your shields and prepare to withdraw from Earth space immediately." The Xenarian commander's compound eyes widened in shock. "Impossible. Earth is a Class 3 world without interstellar capability." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "I'm afraid your intelligence is outdated, Commander. Earth has been capable of interstellar flight for over a decade. We simply chose to keep that information private, especially from civilizations known for their predatory resource practices." In the United Nations chamber, similar shock registered on Vexlor's face as he received the transmission from his fleet. "This is some kind of deception," he sputtered. "Your primitive technology cannot." His words were cut short as the Nemesis dropped out of stealth directly above New York, its massive hull casting a shadow over the UN building. The ship was nearly twice the size of the Xenarian diplomatic vessel. "I assure you," the Secretary General said calmly, "it is quite real. Now perhaps we should discuss new terms for our relationship with the Confederation." In space, the Xenarian vessels made the mistake of firing upon the Eclipse. Captain Chen shook her head sadly. "Target their propulsion systems only," she ordered. "Let's show them what human ingenuity has accomplished." The Eclipse's main cannons fired, brilliant beams of energy that cut through the Xenarian shields as if they were paper. The lead alien vessel spun out of control, its engines disabled. "What? How is this possible?" the Xenarian commander demanded, fear evident in his voice. "Your weapons cannot penetrate our shields." "We made some improvements," Chen replied simply. "Now, as I was saying, lower your shields and prepare to withdraw, unless you wish to continue this demonstration." Within minutes, the 5 Xenarian vessels had powered down their weapons and stood down. On Earth, Vexlor found himself surrounded by United Nations security forces, not the ceremonial guards they had appeared to be, but elite soldiers armed with advanced weapons. "I believe," the Secretary General said, "that the Galactic Confederation will need to reconsider Earth's classification. We are not a Class 3 civilization to be exploited. We are equals, and we expect to be treated as such." Director Kaveri stepped forward. "We've been monitoring your border incursions for years, Emissary. We recovered one of your scout ships 15 years ago and have been preparing ever since. Perhaps in the future, you should be more careful about underestimating primitive species." As Vexlor was escorted out, the Secretary General turned to Kaveri. Do you think they'll retaliate? Kaveri smiled thinly. With what? We just demonstrated that our technology exceeds theirs in several key areas. No, they'll go back and report that Earth is not the easy target they thought. They'll be forced to approach us as equals, or not at all. In the shadow of the moon, humanity's fleet stood watch as the Xenarian vessels departed the solar system, their mission of conquest thwarted by the very primitives they had hoped to exploit. Captain Chen stood on the observation deck of the Eclipse, watching Earth grow larger in the viewport as they returned home. Commander Patel joined her, handing her a data tablet. The Confederation's Central Command has sent a message, he said. They're requesting diplomatic talks, as equals. Chen smiled. It seems they learn quickly when properly motivated. What happens now, Captain? Chen looked out at the stars, countless worlds waiting to be explored by a humanity that would no longer pretend to be less than it was. Now, she said, we take our rightful place among the stars.